with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Thursday, wherever you are. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that you're here indeed, and it is a lovely Thursday. Promises to be out here in Oakland. I hope that where you are, it is indeed a good start to your Thursday, or indeed it is an enjoyable one so far. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. As always, let us know you're here. Let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you today. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime, and I am absolutely delighted to be with you here today. And of course, apologies for the hat too, because it is bad hair day today here, so I'm looking to fix that later on, and hopefully back tomorrow without the hat. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Welcome. Please let us know where you are. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope indeed that you do have a lovely Thursday, and indeed that you're having a lovely week so far. I hope your Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were top notch. Thank you so much for being here. We're back with another story, another exciting story. This one has been here before, and we're bringing it back, and it will be back again in the future. So today, please get comfortable, get cozy, get ready, as we will be reading My Mother's Wildest Dreams. This one coming from our good friend here at Storytime, John Light Jr., and illustrations by the amazing MIKAI. Thank you so much for joining in. Get ready, get comfortable, get cozy. This one is coming right up on Storytime today. Thank you so much for joining in. And this one is published by They Lived Happily Ever After Publishers. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Good morning to you and welcome. Happy Thursday. Great books coming up. And of course, today we're starting with this one, Mothers Wildest Dreams. And as I opened this book today, I found that I had a bookmark in it, and I was actually using this picture, and some of you may have seen it already. But that's me as a baby. So it just took me back. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, just makes me laugh every time I see this picture. And I just thought I should share it today. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And you can see, no longer the Storytime couch, but at least I was still on the couch even at that age. Yes, probably reading a book, ready to read a book. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Glad you're here. What is something today that makes you nostalgic, that makes you think of the good old days? And yes, even if you're little, what makes you think of maybe last year or the year before? I know those two kind of blur together, but I hope that indeed there's something that makes you smile within those years too. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And let us see who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy a wonderful story. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you. Yes, Sarah and Nathan out in sunny Illinois. Thank you for joining us. How are you today? Good to see you here. Hugs to you. Hugs, hugs, hugs. Yes, indeed. And I'm hoping that too, you do have a lovely day today. Thank you so much for joining in pleasant, sunny Illinois. Yes, enjoy the day today. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, we have a story before we go out into our day even deeper. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Marietta, how are you doing today? And of course, Henry out in Massachusetts, and you say, hope everyone is well. Well, I am okay. Thank you so much for asking, and I hope too that everybody out there is okay. And I do hear you loud and clear. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Marietta and Henry, for those positive vibes. Appreciate you, and hopefully you have a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for joining us on Story Time. Good morning to you, Sharon Lungo, and of course Soraya, sleepy Soraya. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, summer is over, but I hope that school is going well, Soraya. And for those of you that are still preparing to go back to school, I hope that indeed you do have a wonderful year this year. Thank you so much for joining in. Soraya, right here in Oakland. Sleepy Soraya today. Wake up, wake up. Thank you so much for joining us. And Sharon Lungo. Sarah Foster, how are you doing today? Yes, indeed. Joining us all the way out in Massachusetts. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And Sarah, you just reminded me I needed to get in touch. I will be in touch today, I promise. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Good to see you, and I hope indeed that you and your loved ones are doing well. Thank you for being here on Storytime. And yes, we have a wonderful book that we're bringing today, coming to you from John Light Jr., and this one is called My Mother's Wildest Dreams, and it is illustrated by MIKAI, published by They Lived Happily Ever After Publishers. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Oh, thank you so much, Sharon Lungo. Appreciations all around. Thank you indeed. Absolutely love it. Thank you. Appreciations. Thank you, Sarah. You too. No matter what the focus, sunshine here. Thank you so much. Well, you bring the smiles, you bringing the positive vibes, you make Storytime what it is. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I can only come with this energy because I feel your great energy out there. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Yes, oh my goodness, what a sweet picture, baby. Such adventures to be had, shared with the world, and that couch style brings back memories too. Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you for sharing. It was, that blanket actually stayed on in the house. I think I was in high school and we still had that blanket, and it was one that we still, argued over on who was getting it that night for TV. But it did stay with us for a very long time. Yeah, memories. Thank you so much for sharing in that with me. All right, get ready, get comfortable, get cozy, and yes, indeed, if you have any baby pictures, all those cute pictures out there that you'd like us to share here on Storytime, please send them my way. I will gladly share. I'm sure everybody out there will be happy to see all the beautiful pictures. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Get comfortable, get cozy, get ready. Our story will be starting very, very shortly. Join me on the other side of this short break when we are back for our story for today. My Mother's Wildest Dreams, coming from our good friend John Light Jr. And join me. Thank you for being here. Absolutely appreciate you.
Hi, friends. My name is Christy, and I am the author of A Heart in the Sand, also known as Un Corazón en la Arena. Now, this bilingual book is about tesoros, or treasures. And something that I treasure is my friendship with Mr. Lamada. So I have a challenge for you. Share this story time with someone who you treasure, and we can all spread the literary love.
Thank you, Christy, and I almost said Christy Mitchell Adams, but Christy is in Vermont. This is Christy Deprin, right here in Oakland, and author of A Heart in the Sand. Yes, Un Corazón de Arena. I hope I got that correct. Thank you for being here on Storytime today. Thank you indeed. And might as well at this point say good morning to you, Chrissy and Bolden out in Vermont. Appreciations to you. Thank you for being a part of the Storytime family. Thank you so much. And of course, Christine Deprin out here in Oakland. Thank you. And thank you for your lovely book. And hopefully, I think we will bring it back to story time soon for those of you that have not seen it before. Or indeed, why not go back on our books? We don't just read books once and put them away. No. My Mother's Wildest Dreams. This one comes to you from John Light Jr. and illustrations by MIKAI. And we're reading it with permission, of course, of John Light Jr. and They Lived Happily Ever After Publishing. Thank you for being here. Here we go. All right. Yes. Like John Light Jr. says, you are a dream come true. You are a dream come true indeed. No matter how bad our day may be going, no matter how our day is going, remember that you're a dream come true. You're amazing. And whatever it is that is putting you down in a day, it will go away. It will go away. Just keep on driving, keep on pushing. Thank you for being here. All right. I love MIKAI's illustrations. They're just so beautiful. And John Light Jr. here writes, to all, in the dedication page, to all the mothers that usher into the universe the dawn of hope. Thank you for your labor, love, and sacrifice. Dedicated to the courageous women in my family who came before me. I am your wildest dream. And that is MIKAI. Isn't that beautiful? One more time. To all the mothers that usher into the universe the dawn of hope. Thank you for your labor, love, and sacrifice. Dedicated to the courageous women in my family who came before me. I am your wildest dream. And this one coming to us today from John Light Jr. and MIKAI. My Mother's Wildest Dreams. I am my mother's wildest dreams. I am my mother's wildest dreams. I am the wish Grandma Hannah made as she labored to make her home safe and warm in the Old Dominion. I am the wish Grandma Hannah made as she labored to make her home safe and warm in the Old Dominion. As you know, John Light Jr. comes from Virginia and shares a little bit actually about Old Dominion in our conversation when we had him here on Storytime. I am the wish Grandma Hannah made as she labored to make her home safe and warm in the Old Dominion. I am Mama Mommy's desire for her children to always find their way back to each other, no matter how long they have been apart. Oh, yes. I am Mama Mommy's desire for her children to always find their way back to each other, no matter how long they have been apart. Yeah, I can relate to that. Right? There's just some people, no matter how far, no matter how long you've been apart, when you meet up, just pick up right where you left off. I am Mama Mommy's desire for her children to always find their way back to each other, no matter how long they have been apart. Yes. I am the hope Wua held that one day her children would pull down the pillars of hate. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. I am the hope Wua held that one day her children would pull down the pillars of hate. Yes, pull them down. I am Mama Layla's belief that God would always bring the rain for the land and provide for the family. I am Mama Lelia's belief that God would always bring the rain for the land and provide for the family. Yes, indeed. I am the anticipation that filled Grandma Ozzy's heart when family visited. She always made sure good food was on the table. Ah, yes, indeed. Who's that in your family that always makes sure there's good food on the table? I am the anticipation that filled Grandma Ozzy's heart when family visited. She always made sure good food was on the table. Ah, yes. I am the confidence Grandma Ruth possessed in knowing trouble does not last always. I am the confidence Grandma Ruth possessed in knowing trouble does not last always. No, it does not. I am the confidence Grandma Ruth possessed, knowing trouble does not last always. Trouble comes to us all, but it does not last always. I am my Grace's hope that a life of love and grace will forever follow her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Oh yes, I am my Grancy's hope that a life of love and grace will forever follow her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Yes. Hope. I am the answer to many nights of prayer for the strength and ability to bring forth a child. I am the answer to many nights of prayer for the strength and ability to bring forth a child. I am the answer to many nights of prayer for the strength and ability to bring forth a child. I am my mama's wildest dreams. I am my mama's wildest dream. And that is the end of our story. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. Appreciations to you and everybody else that is joining us, whether live right now or you join us later on for the recordings. Thank you. Just know that where you are your mother's wildest dreams. Yes. And appreciations. Thank you for being here on Story Time. John Light Jr., thank you. And of course, Monica MIKAI, thank you for this wonderful book. We appreciate you. And indeed, for putting this dream out there and indeed putting out these words. It's just so powerful. And sometimes, it's words you cannot express. But I think John Light Jr. here and Monica MIKAI help us express those. You are a gift. You are a gift. And sometimes for people, for families, sometimes it's hard for people to say, I love you. It's hard for people to tell you how much they appreciate you. But hopefully this book helps us find that courage to go up to somebody today, to go up to our mother, to go up to that parent figure in our life and just say to them, you know what? I love you. I appreciate you. And hopefully, they remind you of the dream that you are, the beautiful gift that you are to them. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Absolutely appreciate you. And I think now I remember why I had this picture in this book, because it is definitely one that makes me feel a connection to my mother for sure. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Always appreciations, and I just hope that you do have a lovely day today. Join me on the other side of this short break when we're back to finish off Storytime for today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zetta Elliott, and I am the author of 40 books for kids, including Dragons in a Bag and A Place Inside of Me. You're watching Storytime with Mr. Lamata.
Thank you indeed. Thank you. Today we did read John Light Jr.'s and Monica MIKAI's My Mother's Wildest Dreams. And this one is published by They Lived Happily Ever After Press. Thank you so much for joining in. Let us see who was with us and what are you saying this morning about this lovely book that we had today. Thank you indeed. Beautiful story, Sharon Lungo. You say absolutely wonderful story. Definitely one that just warms my heart. And every time I look at it, and there's books I have on my shelf, there's books that I go back to often, or when I'm thinking I'm visiting a classroom and thinking, what am I going to read? What am I going to take with me? And I pull up any book that I pull up and read it. And every time I'm reminded, oh, this is why I have this on the bookshelf. It is such a beautiful book, such a powerful book. And I'll say that for each book because they are that wonderful. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. So if you have that book that has been sitting in a corner there, dust it off, open it, and you'll see why you got it in the first place. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you, Sharon Lungo. Betty Graydon, thank you for joining us out in Florida today. Appreciate you, and I hope that indeed you do have a wonderful day out there. Please remember to join us tomorrow for some laughs as we bring back Interrupting Chicken and the Elephant of Surprise. Yes, coming back to us on Storytime. You know you're in for a laugh. This one coming to you from David Ezra Stein. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Get ready for that Friday read. But today, of course, we were our mother's wildest dreams, and we continue to be that. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Good morning to you one more time. Amanda West, thank you so much for joining in. Sarah and Nathan, thank you for being here. Your cute selves, appreciate you. I hope that you do have a lovely day indeed today. Thank you so much. Sarah Foster, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. You know what? Thank you for the energy. Thank you for the support, and it just give me the boost to come back here every single day. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Soraya, hopefully not sleepy anymore. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you enjoyed the story, and I hope that you have a lovely day today. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Henry, how are you doing, buddy? Good to see you here on Storytime. Thank you for joining us, and I hope that as you're getting ready for the school year, I hope that everything goes well. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. And remember, like the book says, if trouble comes our way, remember that it does not last always. No, it does not. So please enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today and reminding ourselves of this lovely book that we have among us. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. One more time, Sarah and Nathan out in sunny Illinois. This has been Storytime for today. Thank you so much for being here. We're back again tomorrow. Yes, we're back again tomorrow with another exciting story, this time coming to you from Candlewick Press, and this one is called Interrupting Chicken and the Elephant of Surprise. Join in for some good laughs. You know when Interrupting Chicken is here, Chicken and Papa are here, it's a time for some laughs. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Please remember to keep sending me your recommendations so we can bring them here to Storytime. Trust me, look at every recommendation that you send our way and try to bring them to Storytime. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I hope again to see you tomorrow and the day after that and many, many more days to come. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Remember, you're a gift, you're a treasure, you're special. Do not forget that. You're special. If you forget, just look in the mirror and remind yourself of those of the wonderful gift that you are to this world. Much love from me. This has been Storytime for today. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm already saying next week. Look at how far ahead I'm going now. No, tomorrow for another Storytime. And remember too, you can find Storytime at Storytime with Mr. Limada on Facebook and YouTube, and you can also find us at storytimewithmrlimada.com. Thank you for being here, everybody. Much appreciations. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Just all the reading, we just can't wait to be hearing. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. He brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be